is Sam Vaughn for Sam Sports Report. Friday, December 13th. Today we're going to go over good teammates. I didn't know we were going to do this subject, but after last night, the 49ers linebacker DevonDre Campbell made a bad example of this himself, and then he got later said they won't play for the 49ers. What does that mean? Well, they probably won't play for the 49ers a lot. At least that came across the ticker. And given whatever he said, Kyle Shanahan, Brock Purdy, George Kittle, I mean, given all what they said, he's not going to be on the team. Last night, San Francisco 49ers player DevonDre Campbell left the sidelines during the team's season-crushing loss to the Los Angeles Rams on Thursday night. An apparent refusal to play the indoor of the game. He was not good enough to be an AH. He's a backup, so he's not good enough to be an AH. He's probably not even be good enough to be a player, obviously. He won't be anymore. Buddy Bell said that once, and I think it's a pretty good saying. Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy and George Kittle had not those good things to say about that. Here's more with that.
What happened with DevonDre Campbell? He didn't play and he went into the locker room at some point?
Yeah, he said he didn't want to play today.
Play today?
Yep.
The coaching staff?
He did when I asked him why he didn't want to go in. So.
During the game or before?
No, that was in the third quarter.
DevonDre opted to not go into the game. What do you need to do to ensure that you don't lose the rest of the locker room?
I haven't lost anybody. That's somebody who doesn't want to play football. That's pretty simple. I mean, I think our team and myself, we know how we feel about that, so I don't think we need to talk about him anymore.
In the second half, as injuries were piling up for the 49ers, they needed veteran linebacker DevonDre Campbell to enter the game, and he refused. He had been benched this week. He refused to go in. Campbell then headed to the locker room long before the game was over with a towel over his head. Afterwards, a lot of his teammates and coaches responded. Here's some of that.
I don't like distractions on the sideline. I think that's ignorant, and I think it's just dumb. It's just stupid. One person making a selfish decision, and I've never been around anybody that's ever done that, and I hope I'm never around anybody that does that again.
For him to do that, that's some sucker stuff to me, in my opinion. Like, probably gonna get cut soon, so it is what it is with that.
RC, you've been a football player your entire life. I've known you as long as I've known anybody. You've never wanted to do anything but be a football player?
I just can't imagine having an opportunity to play football and saying, no, I don't want to.
Put me on the screen so I can give you some reaction. This is Sam Vaughn Sports Smack. Let's say this. I would never sell my team out like he did. And DevonDre Campbell. I was a very passionate player when I got on my game face and played basketball. And was not the best teammate, maybe. But I would never show up my teammate like that. My best friend Jared was a better teammate than I was. I may have been the better basketball player that season, but that didn't matter. He had better sportsmanship than I did. And here's one thing I learned from that thing is you want to always be a good teammate. "31 years old. He needs to learn how to be a better teammate. He leads them, and I learned that lesson from high school. He's 31 years old. Campbell needs to be a better player. He needs to grow up, quite frankly. The players mentioning him have never seen a player do this. I can't remember if I have or not. I mean, I guess Antonio Brown kind of did this right, but they never played the player that did this. That's probably true. Now I'm older than him, but not that much. And you do whatever the coach wants you to do. That's my opinion. I at least played that way and hard, and I dove for the ball, and now whatever. I mean, not all players are going to take the risk, and maybe that's why they're a better player. But I was getting on the teammate. I was the team player getting on the floor, getting under it. I would never diss my teammate like that. He's my teammate. This is according to his church. What is a good sportsmanship? A communication to good teammates that listens actively and communicates effectively. They share the information, are good problem solvers. Good teammates understand that working together is more effective than working alone. They respect others and contribute to the team and celebrate their team states successfully. Dependable good teammates show up on time to meet the deadlines and are someone that gets their teammate they can count on. Hardworking good teammates are willing to get extra respect to put them effort improve. Humble good teammates don't talk about how good they are. Motivated good teammates are self-motivated and take pride in their work. Optimistic good teammates sees the positive in every situation and believe their ability to succeed. Now, do I agree with all this? I don't know, but yes, it's a great teammate. Good teammates treat others with respect and understand that everyone has something to contribute to. Selfless good teammates put their goals team above their own. Team-oriented players are good teammates to understand themselves success and own success. They share the responsibility when their teammate experiences the difficulties. Now, after all that, here's more with that discussion. Now we move on to Thursday Night Football. I don't really rely on Stephen A to, be on my show because a lot of people don't like him. I think he does good work. Guess he gets a little excited. But in this instance, I really agree with him. So let's listen into him.
All right, Stephen A., usually when we talk about walk-offs on the show, it's a positive thing. Not this time. What's your reaction to Campbell and just what his teammates had to say this whole situation?
If it were me, he would have been cut before he left the locker room. He wouldn't have made it out of the locker room as a San Francisco 49er. And I'll be honest with you, his career is in grave jeopardy, and it should be. You don't want a teammate like that. DevonDre Campbell should be ashamed of himself. There is no excuse for what he did. And there have been examples, and I'm going to defer to NFL players. I didn't play, but here's the deal. There's certain things you don't need to be an actual participant in to understand how egregious it is. And this is one of those situations. I would need further understanding if he did it before the game. I would need further understanding if, you had an argument with the coach and you went home or whatever, you said bump it. I get that part. That involves a lot more introspection. But I don't need much to understand that in the middle of a game that you dressed for, that you told the team you were available for, two of your teammates went down. The coaching staff comes to you to play. Your teammates are looking for you to play. And healthy and ready to go, you said, no, I don't want to play, and then got up and walked off the field into the locker room. You heard what George Kittle said. You heard what his other teammates said. I don't blame them one bit. That is as egregious as it gets as far as I'm concerned. Yes, we should not be defined by our worst moment. I get that part. But it's really, really hard to overcome you not even thinking about your teammates and saying, hey, I'm not going to be there for y'all. And in the middle of action, you walk off the field. I can't imagine anything worse than that.
On to Thursday Night Football. Not much of the game in the 49ers and Rams. I mean, it was close, but neither team played very well. Neither team had a good offense. So it was all field goals. It was 3-3 in the first half. At the end, the Rams made 4 more field goals to go ahead, and 3 in a row. The Rams made the final score 12-6, and Brock Purdy wasn't good enough to get him down to score a touchdown, as we saw the whole game. The Rams have won 3 games in a row. Maybe they're a team that gets into the playoffs, but they don't win past the divisional round in my mind, because they beat the Bills, but then they followed up with this game. I mean, they won, yes, but they only had 4 field goals. I don't know. Just doesn't seem like it. Chiefs news. Marquise Brown, wide receiver, who would have been the number 2 receiver probably with Rashid Rice out. Brown's probably the number 1 receiver. Also, DeAndre Hopkins is having a good season. Maybe he's the number 1. But at any rate, Hollywood Brown is probably number 2. And it's a good thing he's coming back this season, and maybe he can get into the role of the number 2 receiver. It just certainly can't hurt the Chiefs, I don't think. But since Rashid Rice is out for the season, what I hope he is as a number 2 receiver. Number 1 receiver may not happen. Hopefully he's at least a number 2 behind DeAndre Hopkins, or you never know, maybe he could be the top. And that's Chiefs football, and that's the NFL, and that's Stephans More.